Hello, this is Conchu speaking. Now, for all you Looney listeners out there, please be mindful that there are spoilers within this episode of Captain Marvel, the new MCU film. Please refer to the timestamp in the show summary if you wish to avoid all spoilers. I repeat, there will be spoilers in this episode, so please avoid at your own discretion. Now, on with the show.
Welcome one and all, either back or for the first time, to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast, a podcast where we talk about Moon Knight, Moon Knighty things, and just things going on that we like, but mostly Moon Knight, because he's pretty cool. And with me, as we dig into another classic issue of the first volume Moon Knight, tackle some news and some the big new movie released this week, I have with me the one and only Reynaldo Gesmondo. How you doing, Ray?
Hey, how you going, Connor?
I am rocking, because with us as well, we have the lovely, the third, and I don't know. Yeah, the third. I was looking for a word that probably doesn't exist. It's Rebecca Hart. Welcome back.
Hello. Good, thanks.
Hey.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while, Rebecca, but we've been hoping to have you on the show. Just, I guess, schedules and life in general. But
yes.
Yeah, but we've got you for a good one tonight.
Yeah, a really good one.
Yeah.
Very happy. Yeah, a bit tired, but very happy.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely crack into that as soon as we can, I guess. But first, usual kind of idle chat. And, of course, Loonies, there's a big thing that just kind of dropped this week. Don't worry, there will be no, massive spoilers or anything. But at the top of the show, you probably would have heard we'll timestamp at the appropriate time. So in case you want to know absolutely nothing about Captain Marvel, then you can just skip through our quick chat about it. But we'll be talking about that because that's one of the big releases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe today, as this week or this year. But before all of that, I guess, as always, maybe we can start off with Rebecca. Had much time to read many comics lately, or?
I've only really been keeping up with the new stuff, like the weekly new comics.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a hell of a time at work recently.
Yeah.
So it's literally been, what do I need to read immediately before someone ruins things for me? And read that and fall asleep. And I'm sort of planning some longer binge reads, but not quite got to them yet. I've been reading, hopelessly connected to all the new TV at the moment. I've been reading also Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol.
Oh, nice.
I reread Umbrella Academy, and they're the only things I've read that haven't been sort of like weekly comics.
Oh, nice. Is Umbrella Academy? I haven't finished the series on Netflix. Is that accurate? True to the flavor of it?
It's true to the flavor. It's quite different. Overall, but it's a sort of. But I think they did really well in the TV adaptation. They've kind of taken bits from the first and second volume and put them in there. And, it's just as wacky. So if you like the show, you'll probably like the comic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Connor, have you caught up on Umbrella Academy as well? Or?
I have owned that book for at least 2 years and still haven't read it, but I love the TV show. It was fantastic. I binged it all. I loved it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
From what I understand too, I'm sure Rekka backs up, the bits I've seen of it, plenty of it just goes absolutely wild with its ideas. So
yeah.
Also a nice dealing of grounding it to an actual level of an adaptable TV show, a recordable one, I guess.
Nice. And Rebecca mentioned Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. We mentioned last episode or episode before, Connor, you have been writing up some good articles on Big Comic Page, not only on the Doom Patrol, but things like Valiant Comics. I'd take it. Rebecca, are you? How's that series? Is that finished? Is that out all at once?
Which one?
Doom Patrol. Is that? I'm sorry.
No. It's week by week.
Oh, okay, cool. But you're up to date with that?
Maybe.
New episode drops in like 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're up to date from now.
What
thank you.
What service
I'm
is
not
it?
actually up to date. I missed the latest episode. I gotta watch that.
It's only on the DC Unlimited app.
Oh, okay. Right.
But presumably once it's over, it will come to Netflix internationally again.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I might have to, because it sounds very interesting. I think Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Yeah, it's getting a bit of groundswell. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why? Because the parallels with the X-Men, I guess. That's all I know about it. Really. Is that right? There's a guy in a wheelchair, like there's a Professor X kind of guy.
Yeah, but yeah. I think it would be stretching it to say there were parallels to the X-Men.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know I was listening to.
Well, if we want to get technical,
yeah,
I think the X-Men took from Doom Patrol at first.
Yeah, exactly. I was listening to
I think so.
Yeah, I was
My
listening.
Strange Adventures came first.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast, and they were saying it was the history of like Marvel and DC and how Marvel pipped. They pipped the publication of X-Men before Doom Patrol, but Doom Patrol had kind of been born before that kind of thing. And they always, this is just from that podcast. They were saying how comparable they are between the two, like Outcasts and the whole thing about mutants. And anyway, I don't know too much about Doom Patrol, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is, it's to me, it seems very easy to parallel the X-Men with so many things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I just don't know if that's the first one I'd go for.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't mean there aren't like likenesses. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I'd go with the Harbinger Foundation.
Oh yeah. Speaking of both of those, I mean, like, kind of, you were talking about the X-Men. You're getting into the Age of X-Men.
Yeah, I've still been following that. It was another great issue this week with Prisoner X. Vita Ayala.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got like Gabby, Polaris, stuff. So
because I just caught up on, like, I'm really behind. I've just caught up on the first of those offshoots. What was the one? It was written by Ed Brisson, I think. And that was really good. Really liked it.
That's next gen, I imagine.
Oh no, it was I think it was called just Age of X-Men Alpha or something.
Alpha?
Yeah, I think it's Alpha.
Oh,
yeah,
it's the one that introduces it all.
Yeah, that was good. I'm really enjoying X-Men at the moment. I'm not sure.
I really loved what Ed Brisson's doing with it, and
he's on X-Force as well.
Yeah, I don't like the art for that as much.
No,
but,
I don't. Yeah.
I still kind of want to see it, but read it. But Age of X-Men, the whole of them, it just has a real feel of Secret Wars tie-ins. So I'm kind of loving that. The kind of alt world.
Yeah.
Have some fun with the characters. So I'm kind of enjoying that.
Oh, and you're also reading Uncanny X-Men, which I'm behind on, but is getting...
Yes, I'm reading that, and it's amazing.
Oh, I've just read, issue 11, the one after that end of the first arc.
Yeah,
the big thick one. Jeez, it's good. My God, it's good.
Yeah,
I love
that's
seeing...
the one I've read as well.
Yeah, how good is that? And then I just had to kind of hoot and holler when Wolverine kind of made an appearance there. It was great.
Yeah, it's nice to have them back. And
Blindfold is such a interesting, weird character. I think she's a great kind of foil for the story. Just in that she's very cryptic and it just really to me, it's X-Men have kind of come back in a big way.
Look, my very professional review to Connor this week was Scott is hot.
Well, excellent. Economy of words there, Rebecca.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it is good to see him back. All right,
it's fun. I mean, you do have to remember the first comics I ever read were the X-Men with the original team. So
Scott's awesome. Cyclops.
Yeah, no, I have a deep love for Cyclops. Yeah. Like, all my problems with Wolverine, like, totally come from his rivalry with Scott. So, yeah, I'm just like I'm big into the OG X-Men. So it's kind of nice to see them back.
Yeah, and there was a bit of appearance there from Jamie Madrox. I love that.
Have you read the later? You haven't read this week.
No, but he seems to be handled. He seemed to be handled a lot better than the Rosenberg run, I'd have to say.
Well, the Rosenberg run was more like a sort of madcap adventure, like crazy. How much can I confuse you, but still do all the Madrox stuff? The latest issue is I think, is very good on Madrox. I'll be interested to see what you think.
Okay, cool. Because I mean, with the Rosenberg, I just thought it made Madrox too much of a slacker kind of thing. Too much of a whereas I'm used to the Peter David run where he's actually more of a detective, which you kind of see in Uncanny number 11, where he kind of finds stuff for Scott. So yeah, I'd be interested to. I've got whatever it is, number 12.
I guess it must be 12. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that just today. So looking forward to that. Yeah. Anyway, Connor as well. Any big reads?
If you're actually this week I've just been keeping up with the new stuff. Like got the new Black Hammer 45. It has like an awesome cast of Ray Fawkes, Jeff Lemire, Matt and Charlene Kent. All the goods in one book. It's great. What else we got? We got Ronan Island by Greg Pak. I love him. I love all the creator-owned stuff he's doing, so that's a great start.
Nice.
And Meet the Skrulls this week is Marvel's short mini. That was just great. I loved it.
Oh, that's already come out, has it? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. Did you pick that one up as well, Rebecca?
Yeah, I did. I loved it. It felt a bit short in that kind of issue 1 kind of sense, so I think it may be a solid trade buy.
Yeah.
It's great. It may come up again as we discuss the next thing.
Yes. Is it Javier Rodriguez on art? It looks like on the cover from memory. Is that him on art or just a cover? Or I don't know.
Well, Connor dug up the team this morning.
Yeah, it's Robbie Thompson, and Nico Henriksen on art as well.
Okay, cool.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Lauren grows out as a colorist.
Yeah, nice. Right. Yeah, I mean, I've been catching...
Henriksen.
Sorry?
Oh, I just love Henriksen. So, I mean, that was the main draw into this. Apart from that, it was just like super sweet, super fun.
Lovely. Yeah, I mean, I've been catching up on. Again, as I keep on saying, I'm very far behind. So a lot of what I'm about to say is probably old news. But I've just read Livewire 3 from Valiant Comics.
Oh yeah.
My God, did you read it, Rebecca?
I did.
It's good. Yeah. I don't know about you. I'm loving it. It was just very simple story.
Really strong.
It is very strong.
It really has to struggle with the setup as well because they left her in a terrible place.
Yeah.
Which it's seemingly really unfair, but I think it's really good.
Yeah, I think this issue was really strong compared to maybe the last issue before. The art is always Raoul Allen.
The art's like superb.
Just augments it, and I'm already thinking of like a trade for this thing because.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to buy it in trade because I think they've done a really good job of what was a difficult situation. I'm very impressed with Vita Ayala, who was already very impressed with their writing.
Oh, very good.
It's something. I also quite liked the first issue of Incursion, if we're talking Valiant. So.
Yes, I've got it. It arrived today, so I'm looking forward to reading. I've heard it's good.
So I thought it was pretty good.
Nice. So plenty of stuff trying to catch up on. Punisher, I read that. I do like Rosenberg on Punisher, actually.
He's very good on Punisher, but I wanted more of the Zemo Stevel stuff, so I'm kind of a little bit more... I don't know if I'm going to keep with it because I was mostly reading it for that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not a massive Punisher fan.
Sure. Yeah.
Now. But I think he is doing a really solid job on Punisher. Like, absolutely, if I like the character more, this would be a run that I think has the makings of a classic.
Yeah, and I think is it Simon Kudransky? I think his art really suits The Punisher.
It's very good, yeah.
And Smallwood covers. I mean, geez, come on.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
just really, really beautiful stuff.
You know that's why I started buying it, really.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's a huge carrot to dangle. I'd pick it up in a heartbeat, just because of that art. But Punisher's going very well. God, what else have I read? I'm just catching up on just some big stuff like Avengers. Yeah, anyway. So a bit far behind. I've got a lot to read ahead. I heard Invaders is good. I've got that. Daredevil, Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, yeah. Both fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with him now. So,
I love him.
Yeah, so very much looking forward to that. But anyway, Loonies, we, of course, this is an Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. Hold on to your hats. There's just a little bit more kind of tangentially Moon Knight related stuff now. So anyway, I hope everyone's been reading some good books. Go to your local comic book store, pick them up. Have a good read. There's a lot of great stuff coming out now. Oh yeah, I've already caught up on some of the Superman stuff as well. Just to stay abreast of the current affairs for Superman. I'm enjoying it. I spoke to the other Connor the other night. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Action Comics is great. I really like it. But anyway, we have different tastes. So
I read the Marv Wolfman 100-pager.
Yeah, what did you think of that? Did you like it?
I really liked it.
I really liked it as well. Which is very honest.
I thought there were little. I thought little bits of it were a little bit forced. But it didn't matter because it was a good read. You know what I mean? It was like there were little bits. Oh, you have to get that bit in. You have to get. It's fair enough. It's you're trying to get everything, not in a horrible way, just in a like you've got to mention. There's certain beats you've kind of got to hit.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was a really good buy. It's definitely I would suggest everyone go and get it because it's pretty good value as well.
Oh yeah, so. It's great, and I think that and say X-Force. Polar opposites in that Castellini let me go back a bit. Castellini on that Marv Wolfman issue and Kodransky on the Punisher issue just go to show how much art can really elevate a comic. Like, we were just talking about X-Force, and I think it's well written by Ed Brisson. I've just read issue 2. I know issue 3 is just out. I've got that as well. But the art kind of for me lets it down a little. It just doesn't seem to have that the tone for the type of comic it is. I think it would probably work better for another comic. I don't know, maybe an Ant-Man or something. But it, So it just goes to show, I think, just how art can really, really change the perception. And I think that Marv Wolfman issue with Castellini, I think that's his name, is really, really good. So, yes. So anyway, having said that, Loonies. We will get to our classic run review, which we'll cover tonight. Bear in mind, it is a waxing crescent. So if you are sitting next to a window looking up, yes, indeed, that's a waxing crescent. It's not a waning crescent, but we have swapped things around due to an error on my behalf. But that's all right. We've paid Khonshu his toll, and so we'll be doing a classic run of Moon Knight, Doug Mensch and Sienkiewicz's issue 4, a committee of 5. But again, before we get into that, just a couple of other things we want to just round off in this bumper week. First off, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our loonies, Alex Lumen, who is a filmmaker. He loves making films on comic book characters. Now, some of you will remember that he created a Moon Knight fan film a while ago, which we covered. It was a bit of fun. Alex is definitely working his craft. He's released another fan film on the Winter Soldier, and there is a cameo appearance or there's a reference to Moon Knight there. So, look, we'll put the link in our show notes, and any loonies keen to see Moon Knight again on celluloid, go check it out on Alex Lumen's YouTube channel there. I don't know, Connor, is there anything you want to add perhaps to this, or?
Oh yeah, well, just want to say big props to Alex for continuing on with this. I know they've got a whole heap lined up, and they're still very passionate about this one. I know he's even been looking into the Winter Soldier. I think he's got an interview up somewhere or something. He's doing some cool stuff with the Winter Soldier. I saw the Moon Knight cameo. I won't say too much, but they've done a nice few things with the costume that actually make it look pretty dang cool. So
fantastic
for that one.
Fantastic, yeah, and it's great stuff, Alex. Thanks for reaching out, and thanks for sharing the Mooney love. So we do love to see Moon Knight in all iterations. Now, also, just before we get into the next bit of a quick discussion, to let you know, Loonies, again, big disclaimer, big spoiler alert. Look, we're not going to be revealing any kind of details of the movie, but in case you don't want to be spoiled at all by listening to our thoughts on in our reactions of Captain Marvel, why not just pause, look at the timestamp, and skip through, and we'll see you on the other side. But for those that want to listen, hold on tight. Yes, this is our just a little spoilery chat, because it is quite exciting. Captain Marvel came out this week. And all three of us, I do believe, have seen the film.
Yeah, just a few hours ago for some of us.
Oh, nice and fresh. And Connor, I think you were the first one first cab off the ranks, first Lockley off the ranks there for us. You saw it at like 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock in the morning or something.
I missed
like
that session. Sadly, had to go at the 6th one with you, like you. So.
Oh, but still came in early. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess just guys, what did you think, like, overall, like the tone of the film, and just in general, Rebecca?
So from the midnight showing, because that was the release. That was the release here. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I was like, it had some warmth, some humor. Mm-hmm. It wasn't too wacky. I love what they did with a lot of the characters. There was some unexpected stuff.
Yeah.
It was a really good film. I enjoyed it. Good end credit scenes too. Always important.
Ah, yes.
In a Marvel film, 2 of them. So anyone who is listening to this bit, watch them both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was a nice addition.
What would you give it out of exploding cores then?
I don't know. I don't like marking things.
Oh, okay.
You know that.
Oh, okay.
Or no, it's okay. I'm seeing it again tomorrow.
Okay.
At like lunchtime. Yeah. So, because the problem with going to midnight showings is you're always a little bit like. First of all, you're keyed up. Yep. Second of all, you're tired. Uh-huh. You're very tired afterwards. You can't really like sort of focus your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And I'm also weighed down by something I knew I'd be weighed down with after seeing Captain Marvel with the, oh my god, Endgame is next.
Ah, yes.
So, So I need a little while for it to sort of settle.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I saw, I liked.
Awesome.
Like, you know.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, that's very, very, very positive. And how about you, Connor? What did you think of Brie Larson's entrance into the MCU?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I definitely want to see it a second time before I, give it one of those ranky ranks. But yeah, no, I loved it, start to finish. I was just so hooked. I think it's so well paced, so well balanced. All the characters, the humor, the action. It's just another great bit of Marvel doing what they always do best, but with we got Nick Fury returning, but this whole new cast, whole new series of writers and directors just injecting something new as well and doing so many cool new things for the MCU. It's got some genuinely great twists that you don't see coming. It's got a lot of really strong and current messages, and it's just just fun all around.
Yeah,
it was like as soon as I got out, I wanted to go back in. So that's
a good sign. That's always going to be a good sign. And I'm pretty much the same as both of you as well. Very positive. I don't know, going into it, there was a level of excitement to go into it, but I don't know, maybe distracted with other things kind of in life. So it kind of came about before I knew it, premiered, and I came out of it going, oh, this is way... Like, I was pleasantly surprised, way better. Like, I didn't think it was going to be bad or anything like that, but it was just that I was distracted, I guess, going into it, and I wouldn't say hyped, but I was kind of looking forward to it, and it exceeded my expectations. I guess that's what I wanted to say. I think Brie Larson's very, very likable in it. She's just very charming, and I think the story was well paced, as you both said. There are some twists. There are some, I think, nice innovative ways to do things without trying to elaborate too much. And I'm a big fan of Ben Mendelsohn, not only because he's an Aussie, but he is
what a star.
Yeah, he's of the 90s ilk, and I grew up watching a lot of his films in the 90s. He's such a larrikin, so it's really, I'm so happy to see him. I know he was in Star Wars, but I'm so happy to see him in the MCU. And
also, after you've seen Captain Marvel, not only by the Captain Marvel comic, because it's amazing with Kelly Thompson writing, but also you should 100% go right by Meet the Skrulls.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely should, because it's exactly the tone that you want coming out of the film. It's like everything you want after seeing that film to go into a comic, are those two comics. It's actually like, it's funny that it's worked out like that, because I imagine everyone will go by the Captain Marvel one, but I just want to shout out that Meet the Skrulls is exactly the kind of Skrulls you want after seeing the film, which is kind of interesting in terms of Skrulls and wanting to read a comic about them, which you wouldn't have thought you would.
I know. Let's just say, like, when that was announced a few months ago, I was looking at it going, I had no real interest in it. Now I do.
Yeah, I definitely, I mean, like, certainly for you, like, with kids and stuff, maybe consider waiting for the trade.
Yes, yeah,
but yeah, it's a fun read so far.
Yeah, great. Well, I mean, I know. Look, I'll give it a score. I don't mind. I'll give it a nice solid 8. I thought that was, I think, it was well deserved. It's something you definitely can watch again. It fits nicely into the MCU. How well does it? How well does it fit with the MCU? I thought I was very happy on how it kind of slotted in to not only the TV series but the movies. I thought it was really good. But anyway, my first sort of thing is it fits in well. I know people have issues with a couple of things, but I think they will be analysed over and over again. But to me, pretty good. I don't have a problem with anything. Yeah, and look, if you go into it, I mean, this is the thing. People like analyse and over-analyse stuff. You just go into it. It's a popcorn film. Like, I read a review the other day, and this critic was trying to critique Captain Marvel as if it was some sort of, I don't know, highbrow, intellectual, really profound film. You know, in other words, he was trying to critique it in a type of film that it clearly isn't. It's a popcorn. It's meant to be fun, entertaining. It's meant to be a bit of escapism. Anyway, I think that critic got it totally wrong. I think it's a wonderful film. It does exactly what it says on the tin. And if you start anyone can read too much into something. And if you start doing that, then you overthink it, and you just ruin the experience for yourself. So that's all I'm saying. It's definitely worth saying if you just want to have fun and spend 2 hours just, in a fantasy. It's good. So anyway, also, just finally, guys, we have, I did actually go see it, I mentioned to Connor last time, with another podcaster, Dave Finn from The Signal of Doom. I went to see it with Dave, with his lovely partner, Michelle, with Natasha, who's a friend of the show and a friend of The Signal of Doom. And anyway, I managed to get Dave's thoughts. Don't worry, no spoilers here, but I got Dave's thoughts on the show, so let's hear him right now. Okay, hi, this is Ray from Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. Just come out of Captain Marvel, and I've had the pleasure of watching it with none other than co-host Dave from Signal of Doom. How you going, Dave?
Pretty good, Ray. Hello to listeners out there, and it's just always a pleasure to be with you. And it was a pleasure to be there for Captain Marvel. We came here as, I believe, International Women's Day, supporting the women's shelter, Hornsby Women's Shelter. And I just want to say, what a pleasurable experience to watch this movie.
Oh yeah, it was a very good movie. No spoilers. We managed to watch it with lovely Michelle as well, and Natasha. Thank you for organising it. So anyway, Dave, just quickly, thoughts on the film?
Really enjoyed it. Went in with a very open mind. I know almost nothing about the comic book character other than very broad strokes. Thought it was a very light performance from Brie Larson, which I really enjoyed. I'd not seen her in anything at all. I knew her reputation. Excellent performance from her. Sam Jackson, very good. The de-aging technology is excellent. I thought it was particularly good. I mean, honestly, for me, this is an 8 out of 10 movie. This is a worthy addition to the next phase of Marvel movies. She's crazy overpowered, but that's exactly what this franchise needs.
Yeah, exactly. Look, and as we said, no spoilers, but how do you see, just finally quickly, how do you see Captain Marvel fit into the rest of the MCU?
Heavy hitter. They'll rely on Brie Larson's acting chops, her sense of humour if they're losing key members from the franchise. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on her, and I think looking at this, she's got what it takes. As a character set, she'll be the heavy hitter, and they might even have to nullify her powers at some point to keep it interesting, but for Endgame, she'll be a huge player, obviously.
It'll be great to see her toe-to-toe or shoulder-to-shoulder with the likes of Thor and the Hulk, so brilliant. Anyway, go watch it if you haven't yet, and thanks, Dave.
Listen to Signal of Doom, of course, as well.
Of course, big plug to Signal of Doom. Thanks again, Dave.
Thanks, mate.
Yes, thank you, Dave, from the Signal of Doom. They were his thoughts. An absolute pleasure. It was awesome fun to watch the film with you, Dave, and your lovely partner, Michelle. It made the experience a lot more fun, being able to, not during the film, but before and after, being able to talk about and discuss all things geeky. So, cheers. It was a lot of fun. All right, well, having said that, there's only one bit of news that I kind of come across, and that is from the Horror News Network. And there's a small tangential, link to Moon Knight here. There's a Marvel horror omnibus coming out in September, a huge omnibus, which should be cool. I don't know, do you, Connor and Rebecca, do you like horror comics?
I love Marvel horror comics, especially if we're talking 70s, 80s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And
I would say no, generally. I'm not big into horror, and yet I apparently read some. So
yes.
It takes a while to persuade me. It takes a few people to sort of say, no, you really have to read Immortal Hulk. And
yes, of course. Yeah.
I read Walking Dead for its first 100 issues. I mean, you can't really not call it horror, although it's not horror.
No.
But so I think I would still say no in general, but I'm prepared to, I'm prepared to take the leap sometimes.
Did you read Man-Thing at all?
No.
No, not by the R.L. Stein guy? No.
No.
Okay. That was quite humorous, actually. Again, probably that wouldn't be classified as horror.
I like the writer a lot, so...
Yeah. Swamp Thing? No? I'm not just...
Well, I have read Swamp Thing. Obviously,
yeah.
I've read and Hellblazer, yeah.
Oh, Hellboy as well?
Hellblazer.
Yeah.
No, I haven't read much Hellboy.
Oh, okay.
But I am shockingly going to all the Hellboy Day events in London this month.
Oh, nice.
I've got a whole day planned of comic shop to comic shop to comic shop.
Why not?
So I will be learning a lot about Hellboy, no doubt.
Well, that sounds like a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it. Like, there's some free comics and there's a signing, so I'm going to be buying some.
Nice.
And then one of the other comic shops, Orbital, if anyone listening is from London, Forbidden Planet are doing the freebies and the signing, and Orbital have got a artist jam in the afternoon where a lot of artists are coming to draw Hellboy stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. That'll be good.
Well,
I would be interested to know after all that, Rebecca, if you are a converted horror comic. I doubt. I know that you have a very diverse range of tastes. So.
I still think I will say I don't like horror comics, and then be able to list for you the ones I read. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this omnibus will be right up horror fans' alley. It actually has Moon Knight 20, I believe, or 21 from Volume 1, the Doug Mensch run, which includes, if I'm not mistaken, Werewolf by Night. So that actually makes it into the omnibus. Other than that, it's just filled with, I guess, other Werewolf by Night comics, Dracula, Man-Thing, all that sort of jazz. Let me just pull up the article. It's big. it's got, Strange Tales, Marvel Chillers, Marvel Spotlight, Dead of Night. It's actually got some Incredible Hulk, Fantastic Four, believe it or not, and Avengers.
Wow.
Yeah, but Moon Knight 21 is in there. So for you Moon Knight completionists, that omnibus then is for you. And I just like a little shout out to a fellow podcast show, Tomb of Ideas. They are a Marvel horror podcast, doing great stuff so far, and I'm sure they'll be reviewing or mentioning this omnibus down the line somewhere. But yeah, anyway, that's probably it for news. So why don't we get our cups of tea out, settle back, relax, and after this, the other side of the break, we'll come back and let's review our classic trade, classic issue.
Hi, this is Phil Parrish from the Capes and Lunatics podcast, a proud member of the collective, and you're listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back to the second reviewing half of Into the Night, where we're tackling our classic issue for this week. It's the wrong phase of the moon, but after this one, we'll be back on track. It's Moon Knight Volume 1, Issue 4. Yes. Mm-hmm. Committee of 5, released February 1981. Writer Doug Mensch, artist Bill Sienkiewicz, with inks by Klaus Janson. Bob Sharon as colorist, Rick Parker as letterer, and editors Dennis O'Neil and Mark Grunwald doing their Marvel thing back in the day.
A very strong team there, and should be available readily on Comixology, Kindle, Marvel Unlimited. It's still available in singles. Massive shout out to Konishu there for giving me his singles. The Essential Collection, which is out of print, but if you are lucky enough, it's in the black and white version. And I'm going to be reading it from, available on the Epic Collection, Volume 1, Bad Moon Rising, which I still think is available. If you look at least Book Depository.
It sure is.
Yeah. And that's available on digital as well. So you can get the Epic Collection as digital if you so wish. So, easy to find. But anyway, Looney listeners, for those that don't listen that often or first-time listeners, what we do is that we'll go through a sliver of the story, so a summary of the issue, and that will be followed by just an open discussion, what we liked, what we didn't like, what things work, how we see Moon Knight portrayed and his supporting cast, stuff like that. And it will end with our patented convoluted moon rating system. I have it listed all here in the prompt sheet, so we are very well versed with all the different phases of the moon. Look, in a nutshell, your full moon, 10 out of 10, new moon, 0 out of 10, half moon, three-quarter, quarter moon, you get the gist. And yeah, we'll mark it out of that. So, for the sliver... Rebecca, you like the story? Do you want to give it a go?
What, to read it out?
Just to kind of sum up in a couple of sentences what the story is about.
The story is about a bunch of assassins who are part of this committee, and they go to try and take out Moon Knight, basically, and Moon Knight fights back.
Fantastic. That is actually it. Don't worry, Loonies. It sounds there's actually a lot more to it than it's a lot more interesting than that. But
there's some guy who's a blade freak.
Yeah. But I mean, that literally is it. I mean, the plot goes. It's just that.
Sometimes the best comics don't need a long summary plot.
Exactly. I was thinking
you want to be able to read them,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was just thinking off the top of my head there, Rebecca, that latest Livewire issue, you could just summarize that in a conversation between Livewire and Pan. I mean, that's pretty much it. But that was a ripper of an issue. Anyway, I know our thoughts on this issue. Let's open it up. Konishu, initial impressions on this issue. What did you think of Moon Knight being hunted by assassins hired by the committee?
A pretty good callback. We got the committee again. This actually manages also to fit Werewolf by Night 32 and 33.
Yeah.
The now convoluted origin. Well, no longer convoluted. They fixed it. But and I don't know. This was just like a really fun, action-packed issue. Like I said, one of the assassins is called a blade freak, which is never not funny to me. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just Doug Mensch playing with the way he set up Moon Knight. It's pretty funny.
Yep.
A lot of action. What do you want from a 80s comic? Hey?
True. And just further to that as well, the 5 assassins are fun because obviously they have their own little identity. But I really like the use of the supporting cast here. They're used very well.
Yes.
So Moon Knight is not by any means a lone wolf in this. He really has.
He gets everyone gets it. Everyone's in it. It's brilliant.
Dead without this entire cast.
Yeah, exactly. It was really. I thought that was really fun. But look, just one. I'm just looking at the front bit. Boom Boom. He's one of the assassins. He's literally got one of those cartoon bombs at the beginning. The little circular ones.
Running around with a stick of dynamite, still pretty cartoony.
Exactly that as well. But
he's pretty much Wile E. Coyote. So.
He is. But yeah, Rebecca, what did you make of this?
I really liked it. It felt so packed because everyone had a role, and yet the story still gets to tie up. Like I was half expecting to get to the end. It's like, to be finished next week. But they whiz through it. It's something we don't see much in comics now.
No.
Where it's just, it is a kind of, you can read it as a standalone, and yes, it calls back, and yes, you get more if you know stuff about Werewolf by Night and the committee, but you can just read it. You can just jump in, read it, and I would absolutely give this issue to anyone wanting to see a Moon Knight issue from, before the sort of Ellis run, and just say, here, read this one. This is, because it's got all his supporting cast that you need to know about. They all have things to do. You get to see a few of his personas, and acting quite differently, and it's got him wearing pants, which is, as you know, one of my must-haves. Has a cat in it, saving his life.
Yes, that's always
a plus.
That's so cool.
Marlene's kick-ass. So
yeah,
it's a pretty damn good issue, I think.
I tell you, I thought it was really funny. With that cat, how he, the little cat finds the explosives, and Moon Knight grabs the cat to run away because it's going to explode. Yeah. It kind of surprised me. I don't know why, but in the debris, Moon Knight rises out, and he's still holding the cat, and the cat's kind of scowling, and then it runs away. It's just funny to me. It just it shows Moon Knight is strong, he survives, but it also shows that the cat is a survivor too. So we talked about this earlier, Rebecca, and I'm not sure and half convinced that Doug Mensch is using cats in this run as some sort of tie to the Egypt mythology.
I wouldn't at all be surprised. It makes complete sense.
Yeah,
to tie that into the thing.
I would have hoped maybe a bit more of a use for it because it is very subtle. I mean, the only other thing I could think of was in that Doctor Strange one. I think it was in the 40s, the issue 40s somewhere, and there's a cat there that plays a bit of a part in it. But it would have been cool to see, I think, more cats throughout this, and not just because I'm a cat lover, but
I know, right?
Yeah, I just like the tie-in with Egypt as well. It just makes sense. And so, what did you think of Connor? You raised it as well. This so Mensch tries to go into damage control here, and he tries to piece together the history as previously told in Werewolf by Night 32 and 33. Does he pull it off? What do you reckon?
Yeah, this is great. Not only does it make sense, but also the flashback scene where the page is just drenched in red and silver is the best looking page of the book.
It is good.
It's great.
Yeah, because I read, maybe it's later on, it gets kind of really convoluted and it starts to fall apart at the seams later on, but this reasoning seems quite plausible, like by having Frenchie infiltrate the committee, and I think that works, but obviously down the line it kind of doesn't, but did you enjoy this, Rebecca? I mean, you're very familiar with the earlier run.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with it. I haven't read it for a long time. Is the sort of difference? Is like they're not books I go back and reread, and possibly should. This kind of makes me want to, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it tied everything in nicely. It's just like it also gave Frenchie a bit more to do than he gets to do sometimes.
It does.
To have him do the infiltration and actually be like a fully, he has a fully fleshed out role in this, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, so many times you just see him with his cap on, polishing the moon
just
copter.
Being like, just being around to pick Mark up. And
No, I was pleasantly surprised with this as well. Because in the back of my mind it was like, oh yeah, it's really convoluted, his history. But I was reading that page that you were mentioning, Connor, with it in like that blood red, and it's being, hang on, well, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That could work. Yeah, it could all work. So, at this point, Doug Mensch has done a good job in trying to retcon, I guess, massage the details of 32 and 33 into the history. So that was pretty good. What did everyone think of? I guess, I don't know, the five assassins. A bit cartoonish, all of them. Not as fleshed out as you would have thought. The only guy is Ice. I think he gets a bit of a role. The others are pretty disposable.
Yeah, I think if they'd wanted to have them as a long run, they'd have fleshed it out more. I think it's fine for what we have. Mm-hmm. All you need to know is there's a bunch of them. They've all got this different specialisms. Yeah. And he still manages to take them all out. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
With help.
Yeah, I feel like it does a good job as well as, the issues before this have actually been pretty serious. You've had decapitating slashes and sad backstories and ripping people's necks out. But I feel like you really buy quickly into how cartoony they are, where it isn't jarring. It isn't like the way the plot's written, the way the characters talk around these more cartoonish villains doesn't make them feel out of place. They're ridiculous, but I don't know.
It's very colourful issue as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's some very bright colours in it.
Yeah.
Which I don't always expect when I'm going into a Moon Knight issue, because so much of it's at night.
True.
But this is, we have a lot in the day, and a lot of, like, very bold yellows and reds and greens.
Yeah.
The cat's bright orange. I mean, like, sort of halfway through you get this sort of series of... like, no other background, just these solid walls of bright colour, which is kind of nice.
There's also a lot of oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, it adds to that kind of fun feeling of it.
Yeah. I mean, and the added fun of that as well. Like, I'm just flicking through here as well. There's Moon Knight goes to a boxing match as well, and there's almost a little. I don't know if that's meant to be a particular boxer like Muhammad Ali or something, but a quite. A chatty boxer who he comes out of, and he's quite what does he say? There was a
what, like that you could just
wonder if he's
hook him.
No, I just wonder if he's got any colour under that white mask. I thought that was but I thought it was pretty cool as well. Maybe a pop reference there to Muhammad Ali. I don't know.
Who knows? Very red hair for Mark as well.
Oh yes. Yeah. Sorry, Connor, you were about to say something as well.
No, I was just going to adding to the colour of the issue. Another really fun part of this issue is just how many different locations there are.
Yes. Yeah.
Starts atop the rooftop, ends at a port, and then you got a nightclub. You got the diner. Got the big.
You got the kind of not strip club but dance bar.
Yeah, which is pretty novel, having it on an aeroplane, which is pretty funny. But that just goes to show what Rebecca had mentioned earlier. There are so many moving parts to this story. Mensch has packed it with everyone doing something, So you got Frenchie, albeit in a retelling, he infiltrating the committee. You have Marlene infiltrating kind of that nightclub and trying to get close to Ice, the new committee. And then you have Moon Knight, I guess.
You got Gina popping up, her son's scouting out info.
Big thing of the
Crawley there as well.
Yep. Yeah, that was what I enjoyed. That Ricky and Ray, they had to get the names, and they managed to do that in a little crafty way. yeah, so there's a lot of things happening there. Sorry, Connor, you mentioned something about Crawley?
No, that was Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca.
Yeah, I was just saying it's nice to have him in there as well.
Yeah.
Really got everyone.
Well, he's very important. He actually gives very
Yeah.
crucial information.
Yeah.
So everyone is kind of doing their bit, and it's even called out by, is it Ice who says it? Moon Knight's got spies everywhere. And starting to
he
get
says
kind
it
of...
while Marlene's there, and she's like,
Yeah, and that's good. A bit of tension because we know Marlene's kind of part of the whole ruse. But yeah, no, I found it quite enjoyable. I thought the fight scenes, you know, they were exciting and stuff. They were quite short. Maybe not as satisfying as could be. Like there, for instance, from memory here, I'm going back. Bull, his first encounter with Bull. It seems like he gets dissuaded from fighting Moon Knight for a very small reason. Let me just see here. He gets kicked by Moon Knight. So after that, and he gets shot at, I guess. But
and then he's like, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Off we go. Yeah.
Let's go after the committee instead.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. And that's another point as well. So they turn face and they try to go. They betray the committee. But one thing I didn't quite understand is that we have, bear with me, we have Boom Boom who has rigged the place and threatening the committee, look, you know, if you don't, this place is going to explode, it goes off in 10 minutes if you don't pay up. So the committee do that. Ice, he wants to double-cross everyone, and so he locks them in there. Wouldn't he then, in hoping to explode, you know, the whole warehouse and them dying in it, wouldn't he then just destroy all the money as well? I don't get that.
They don't seem people who've thought through their plans very well.
Fair enough. Well, certainly, yeah. I mean, Boom Boom meets a grisly end at his own hands there, and Bull again has a very, I think, short-lived. Or he ends up getting shot by Ice. So everything. Oh yeah, this is another thing. Marlene again. We see another example. She actually saves Moon Knight. He was in the crosshairs for Ice at the end, and if she had not kicked it out of the way, he would have been a dead donger. And so she tackles Ice, but obviously then Moon Knight comes back and helps finish off the job. So yeah. Also, towards the end, any thoughts on? I guess it's dirty money, right? But they keep it. Is that a bad thing? I guess, or
nah, take it from them.
Nah, take it.
Take it. Like, give a third to this person and that person, but what was it? The other $5,000. Have a trip. Okay, fair enough. To Bermuda, yeah. Okay, I thought for a second there maybe that's a bit.
No, eat the rich.
Yeah.
Eat the rich, baby.
Well, it means right. So now I can tell you all about the gnomes.
Oh yes,
joke, right?
Please, yes.
Right. So in like the first few pages, when they're talking about when the committee are there, they're talking about playing games with the Swiss gnomes. So if anyone here has played the game of Illuminati by what's his name, Steve Jackson Games card game, you will know that one of the groups of conspirators you can play is the gnomes of Zurich.
Oh.
Zork also makes reference to the gnome of Zurich.
No.
And Valiant Archer and Armstrong fight the gnomes of Zurich.
Really?
But they fight an actual group of literal gnomes. So what? It's actually a phrase that comes from England in the 60s, and it's to do with the Swiss bankers. It's basically just slang for Swiss bankers.
Okay.
Who were trying to manipulate money markets. And in the 60s, they speculated against the pound. Right. And one of the politicians called them the gnomes of Zurich. And because it sounds like a conspiracy, that's why it got flipped into the Illuminati game. So it's kind of become a joke with like friends of mine because we all played it growing up. So we were like, I mean, like you should all play the Illuminati game. It's absolutely fantastic. One of the other groups is the Boy Scouts of America. So, you know, like it definitely has some fun, but it's just like, it's because Swiss bankers are supposed to be very secretive. And because in sort of fantasy world, gnomes often live underground and have a lot of money. So that's where it comes from. But it's quite funny to see something like that referenced in a comic.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it possibly shows that in the 80s, people were more aware of it as slang than they are now. Like, I've never heard anyone use it today, except in reference to the Illuminati game.
Yeah, very obscure for me, but I'm glad that you picked it up because, I remember reading that going, should I be knowing something here? Like,
should I know about Swiss gnomes? Yeah. Why are we going into fantasy?
Yeah. But so...
It just made me laugh because I love the game so much.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, oh, the Swiss gnomes. Okay, here we go.
And you just said you heard it not only in here, but like Archer and Armstrong. Where was the other one?
Armstrong and Archer, and it's in Zork.
Zork.
They mention it.
Okay.
Yeah, the good game. The classic computer game.
Oh, okay. Right.
Text adventure that everyone should have played if you were...
We're gonna have to put this in.
If you were all as old as me.
We're gonna have to put these in the show notes, Rebecca. I'm keen. Illuminati.
Zork is an absolute classic.
And then Zork, yeah. Is that still around or?
It's a text-based adventure game. It's literally from the 80s. So
it's like ported to websites now. That's where I played it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that is, you know, people reference as games that influence people.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because that kind of text-based adventure, and it's one of the best examples of sort of role-playing games before we had graphical role-playing games.
Mm-hmm. Are you game-savvy people? My gosh.
I'm just old, Ray. No. Old.
She knows everything.
Oh, and Connor's come across Zork.
That's true. Connor, however, is a game-savvy person.
Right. Well, thanks for that. I'm going to put that in the show notes. Just, you know, no one stopped me. Anyway, let's get to any other points. Konishu, anything about maybe the art or anything else that takes your fancy?
The art. I always like to bring up Sienkiewicz's art here that still hasn't quite reached its height. It's definitely good to look at. There's no really standout features like we've had in the past few issues. It's just, apart from that one great page, you know, he excelled at some great panels before. This is just consistently pretty good art. He does good at making great
It opens with a cape-shaped text panel. Come on.
I'm sorry. There's the cape-shaped text panel. Although that's just sick lettering. That's got to go to.
That's true. It's true. That goes to lettering.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Parker.
Shout out to Parker.
Shout out to Parker.
I do like a lot of the layouts though. I like a lot of the there's some very sort of claustrophobic paneling to move the action along. There's no sort of fixed rate. There's pages where panels overlay other panels slightly.
It's so full, isn't it? It's so packed.
Yeah.
Like
there's places where background of panels is actually art as well. And yet a lot of the panels themselves, I was saying before about the matte colours, don't actually have backgrounds in them, which is like you'd see that as kind of basic.
Yeah.
But I think it's because there's a lot of action going on. But I think I like the layouts.
Yeah.
Stood out to me more than some of the individual bits of art. Although Mark is looking quite sexy.
There are a couple of really good...
He's got a great ass in one of the panels.
Really good.
He does have a great ass. See, I was hoping I wouldn't be the one to mention that.
Top panel, page 28 is what you want.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me have a look at this Heine here. Top what? Top panel... Oh, okay, yep. There you go. Pushing it out as he dives across, yeah?
Yeah. And there's the page where he first sees the cat. There's also nice butt shot there.
Little butt watch.
Butt shot at the top there.
See,
a nice butt shot.
So I was about to just say, you know, that shot of Moon Knight as he gets out of the dressing room in front of the boxes. I thought that was pretty good. But we went there with the bottom, so very good, very very good. Look, I'm going to be a little bit of a downer potentially here. I wasn't. I do like his work in other things. Klaus Janson as the inker. I thought potentially doesn't do Sienkiewicz's artwork enough justice, maybe. I don't know. I'm reading this in the Epic collection and I'm thinking to myself, has it been like reproduced and recolored or remastered in any way? I don't know. Like, are you guys reading a digital version or an old version?
Yeah.
I should pull out the old single issue and just compare, because the colours to me seem they are very bright, but a lot of them seems quite flat as well, with the inking. So I don't know, that was the only thing I kind of picked up on. And I'm kind of looking at previous Sienkiewicz's art here. I've got the Epic collection, and what is it, Light and Day? It's very different. The inkers make a big difference. Like here, this one where Bill Sienkiewicz inks it himself, it's a lot more evocative, I think, than what we see from Klaus Janson. But I do like Klaus Janson as well. I do like how he inks a lot of John Byrne stuff. I used to read a lot of the Wolverine in the 90s with Klaus Janson and John Byrne. But yeah, over here, maybe not as much. So that's the only kind of downside, I think, for this issue. So anyway, having said that, anything else anyone would like to raise before we get into our convoluted system?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go look that up.
No, I think I've covered it all.
Yeah,
just, great use of the cast.
Yep. It's great to see the committee again, albeit them defeated again.
Pretty shit. Cool.
Yeah, they are. But I do like the tie. I do like how it's tied into Werewolf by Night and stuff. So anyway, let's kick it off then. Connor, do you want to start?
What would you give
this one?
The system. I'd give it. Yeah, I think I'd give it a waxing gibbous. Like an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
I think it was a lot of fun. It was just a really classic issue, as Rebecca's already said. It's just got everything you love. It's got a really great use of the supporting cast. Moon Knight, a lot of great action, some fun villains, a lot of moving parts, just a packed issue. And Rebecca, great point in realizing the panels that at first, you so automatically realize that looking at it, it is really such fantastic layouts for action pacing. So yeah, this is one of the ones that really hold up. I mean, they've all sort of held up, but this one really holds up. So it's a waxing gibbous from me.
A waxing gibbous, excellent. Let me just chuck that in before I forget. So that's you'd say you give it an 8 out of 10 then, yeah. Waxing, good. Rebecca.
Yep, waxing gibbous for me from everything I said. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, lovely. And that's a good 8, or is it a 9? Would you give it a 9?
No,
8. Okay.
8. You're right, the art's not up there for a 9 for me.
Yeah, look, I don't know, maybe I'm the harsh one today. I really enjoyed it. Actually, it really did surprise me, and I absolutely loved how the supporting cast got so much more to do, so many moving parts. Mensch's made it a really involved bit of storytelling. The art, the inking let me down a little, I thought. And again, I'm wondering about this color reproduction on the Epic collection. It seems very clean, and maybe some tones have been lost in the reproduction. So I was going to give it a waning gibbous, like a 7, like on the higher end. So a 7 out of 10. But I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it far more than I thought I would. I mean, to be honest, sometimes doing the volume ones, I might be really, really treading on, some stuff here. Sometimes, you go in thinking, okay, this might be a bit of a slog, reading an issue. But read it for it. We'll review it. It should be good. I came out of this one like really, really enjoying it. So a 7. But just holding the horses, bearing in mind, what we gave Jeff Lemire and all that, and Houston. I've got to hold the reins back in a bit. And yeah, a 7. Definitely, well, so far, I mean, one of the more favourite issues of the volume ones that we've covered so far. So very, very strong indeed. Unfortunately, well, there you go, everyone. Yeah. So that's 16. What's that? 23 divided by 3. 7.7 2/7, something like that. 7 2/3. 7.6.
I'm not doing math right now.
7.6. There you go. That was my.
Hooray.
So as an average, Loonies, go pick it up. Readily available everywhere. Well worth a read if you want just a nice self-contained story. No feedback for this issue. So please, Loonies, if you do have feedback now, get it in. If not, please just drop us a line. We'd like to hear from you what you think of the stuff that we review. Anyway, that's pretty much come up towards the end of our show. I'd like to thank Rebecca once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Nice to have a yarn. We had a, if only we had recorded the yarn we had just before we pressed record, would have been really, really cool. But always fun to chat with you, Rebecca. So thank you so much. Enjoy. What's on the cards for today? You've got the day off, right?
I don't work Fridays anymore. I am doing nothing. I think I might get to there's something
comics.
Yeah, maybe. There's something I do kind of have to do outside the house, but I don't know if I will. I might leave it till Monday.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what
Friday. I've still got quite a bit of sleep to catch up on. I've only had a couple of hours sleep since we got back from the cinema. So
yeah, and the last thing you want is to be bombarded with messenger texts from people saying, "Show in 2 hours." How are you?
No, that's fine. So, that was fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm and I'm going down to London tomorrow, so I might just chill out today.
Cool. And look, I also just want to give another quick shout out as well to another partner in crime. But Rebecca, you were on again. You co-host Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast, back in full force. I just listened to the latest episode. You're on the second to latest episode, right?
Yes.
With the other Connor, reviewing. I believe it was a classic Power Man Iron Fist comic. So, Looney listeners, one of the collective podcasts there, Sons of the Dragon. Rebecca's on there. A lot of fun to listen to. Go check it out if you are an Iron Fist fan, as well as a Moon Knight fan. Konishu. Another show in the bag.
Another show in the bag. Are we talking about this show?
Yes.
What's going on here?
Yeah, we're talking about this show. Look. Any plans for the weekend coming up?
Oh, trying to, stop capitalism before it can goes too far. I don't know. Catch up on some comics.
Yeah. Watch Captain Marvel again. Would you do it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I am. I'm just going to see it again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd love to see it again. Yeah, I think it'd be great. Anyway, that's good.
What about yourself, Ray? What are you doing?
We have a bit of a community thing that Eve and I, a friend of ours, has asked us to pull together. She's very into urban planning and, not wanting to bore many Looney listeners. We've distributed flyers out to everyone in the apartments where we're at, and just hoping a meet and greet. Just kind of get a community feel happening. I really don't know what
You're ridiculously friendly.
It's not, but it's not. This is not. I'm not driving this. This was. So Eve's done it all. So she just said,
"You and Eve are ridiculously friendly."
And she just said, "Just turn up on the apartment lawns at 10 o'clock." And I go, "Okay, all right." And so I think we're having tea with people. I don't know why, but anyway, it should be fun. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see what will happen. Maybe get them to read a few comics. I don't know. But yeah, no, it should be good. Anyway, Loonies, thanks again for listening. Spectacles, just to let you know, again, a shout out to Alex Lumen with his Winter Soldier fan film. We'll put the link to the show notes. Go check it out. It is 17 minutes of fan passion there for Winter Soldier and all Marvel characters in general. Check it out. Let Alex know what you think. And also, a couple of shout-outs. Tomb of Ideas, Marvel Horror Podcast, doing great stuff with horror. And, of course, Rebecca's other podcast there, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast. Check it out. Do yourself a favour. It is highly entertaining. So, next phase is a weird one. Connor, this is, can you see? It's a first quarter, the moon. So, Connor has asked us to do a toy figure review. It's our segment of Khonshu's Idols. I've got no idea what we can do that on, Connor, but I'm sure we can come up with something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll make our own toy while
yes. How about custom toys?
Yeah,
that would
do
be
it.
good.
Just buy a toy factory.
Get your plasticine out. Do it.
Mr. Potato Head. You can do
those
a
pipe
Moonlight.
cleaners.
Pipe cleaners. Yeah. Just a couple of wooden pegs.
Pipe cleaners, amazing. I would be into that.
Yeah. Well, hold on to your hats, Loonies. It's going to be fun where we review a toy, maybe of our own device. It should be a lot of fun. And finally, Khonshu, may I kindly ask, where can Loonies find us?
They can find us at a variety of nice places on the internet, like emails. They're pretty nice, which we're at itkmoonnight@gmail.com. Our website is www.intothenightpodcast.wordpress.com. We've got our episodes, our newsletters, links to the other podcasts we're a part of with the collective, such as Signal of Doom from David Finn. You just heard this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Our Facebook page where you can find all the updates as well, facebook.com/ITKMoonnight. Our Twitter is at ITKMoonnight. You just search for Into the Night on Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, podcast catchers. We should be there. And our fantastic group, always going off, is facebook.com/group/ITKMoonnight. Nice and easy.
Fantastic. And, of course, who knew we could add footers so easy? I'm not sure. Top 10 headers, awesome stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm just exploring.
No, that's all right. That's great.
Myself on Google Drive.
Connor's unleashed on our prompt sheet, so it's fantastic. Anyway, thank you once again for listening. Finally, any iTunes ratings, please, would be great. We would like to improve the show in any way we can. Or if you just want to tell us that you are enjoying it, that's good too. It will help others find this podcast. We very much appreciate your support. And yeah, we hope that you can stick with us. We've got plenty of things up ahead. But yes, thank you, everyone, one and all. And as always, may Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.